Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
Be'ez Hashem, we're here in Chelek Gimel, Perek Daled, Menucha. I think this perek is a very eye-opening perek. We're gonna talk something about something that I think everybody looks at Menucha in one way, and it's really something completely different. It's something very, very different, and because of that, it might be a little bit hard to swallow. It might be a little bit hard to change your view, something that you've been experiencing, even something that you've thought that this is what Menucha means for your whole life, right? What is Shabbos Menucha? Shabbos Menucha means that maybe I get to go to sleep a little bit earlier on Friday night, right? No electronic devices. So, what would we do without Shabbos? We'd just be swallowed up by the black hole called technology, right? So, Baruch Hashem, Shabbos, right? People have written songs about this, how, without Shabbos, you would just die, right? So, and your Shabbos nap, of course, right? So, that's what Menucha is. So, this parak, I believe, is a bit of an eye-opener that that's not exactly what Menucha is. And it's going to be even more strengthened in the next parak when he talks about the parish of Atah Echad, the tefillah of Mincha on Shabbos. Atah Echad v'Shimcha Echad Mikamcha Yisrael Goy Echad. It's a very interesting, very deep tefillah. What does it mean? And also over there, right? We talk about Menuchas Ahava Nidava, Menuchas Emes Ve'emuna. A menucha of emuna, right? If it's just stam to sleep because I'm tired, because the children put me out, so is that a menucha of emuna? Is that a menucha of ava? Right? What is that? Does it make sense? What is menucha? That's what we're going to be starting to discuss. We're going to be discussing it certainly into the next couple of prakim, and this happens to be a longer parak also, so we're going to be getting into this idea of Menucha. One of the ideas of Shabbos, the Yesodis, the foundations, the fundamentals of Shabbos, is Menucha. It's Menucha. It's rest. What does that mean, rest? What do you mean we're resting? What does Menucha mean? Hinei. Kfi harogil inyan Menucha hagdara so the choyer she'adam acher she'over avoida. Person rests after they do a lot of work. They work, they hard work. And then after you finish your work, you rest. That's what it means. I stopping to work. It's just a stop of something you were doing. Rest is not an idea in and of itself. If we're going to go with this concept, it's not. It's just stopping whatever you were doing. It's not an idea in and of itself. It's a way so you can be able to rest a little while so that you can start working again later. Like we just brought before from the what we say in Mincha on Shabbos. It's not just that Menucha is stopping. It's an ending for work. Ella he inyan sheish bo malchus v'toichin. It actually has an essence in and of itself. Shekein anu mevakshim menuchas ahava nidava. Like I said before, you're asking for a menucha, a rest of love, a rest of nidava, of a gift. Menuchas Emes Ve'emuna, a true menucha, right? A true menucha is that like if your kid wakes you up in the middle of your nap. If he wakes you up, that's not a true menucha, right? What is Menuchas Emuna? What is that? Menucha Shalom B'Shalva, right? That's when he doesn't wake you up. You get a really good one, right? But that's a Menucha Shalom B'Shalva. Hashkeit V'Vetach. A person is mamish feels totally secure, right? You wake up for a Shabbos nap. You don't know if it's day or night. You don't know anything. You are that rest was so good. Is that really what it means? Is that the essence of emuna and of ava? What is that? We're coming to explain there's an idea. We're describing Menucha. If a person would be described this way, he would be like the perfect person. This is a person who has bitachon. This is a person who has shalva. This is the person who has ava. Wow. And yet we're describing Menucha that way. Rest. Rest is just nothing. Isn't rest just nothing? Rest is just spacing out? No. Rest is not just spacing out. Menuchas Emes Menuchas Sheker. It must be there's some kind of fake Menucha. Right? If there's a true Menucha, then there's a fake Menucha. It's not when you're pretending to sleep so that your kid falls asleep, right? That's not the fake Menucha. Mahi imke Menucha Sheker. Then what is this? What does it mean, fake Menucha? Ve'echi Menuchas Ahava in the double. Klape Menuchas Sina V'kilus. Right? If there's a Menucha, a rest of Ava, it must be that there's a Menucha of Sina as well. Right? Menucha of hatred, of destruction. What are these concepts? Continuing on, why is Shabbos called Yom Menucha, the day of rest? Why is it called that? Every day you have time to rest. Chazal even say in the Gemara in Eruvin, Lo ibra laila el l'sheinaso. Hashem created night so the person can sleep. That's why there is night. In the last 200 years, that's changed a lot. And it could very well be that's why people don't function properly, is because they don't sleep when they're supposed to sleep. Right? I'm very fond of telling over a very short story. When I went to one of my Rebbeim who was sitting Shiva, and he was talking about his father who was sitting Shiva for us. So he described his father as, my father was a man who went to sleep at night and woke up in the morning. I said, wow, that's a mamish a big musar word, because there's so many people who go to sleep in the morning and wake up at night, right? It's an upside down world. We've turned night into day. Hashem created night so that people would sleep. But now people don't sleep at night. Now, obviously, even the Rambam, they talk about learning Torah at night and the person taking advantage of the night to learn Torah, for sure. But that's because it wasn't a time for work. Nowadays, night has become a time for work too. For many, many people, night has become a time for work. So you don't have time. You don't have time any time for sleeping either. So we see in other days also there's an aspect of sleeping. Is sleeping the same thing as menucha? If you're going to say that it's stopping to work, then night is a time to stop to work. Why is then menucha? Why is rest special for Shabbos? Do we say that it just happens to be? Yeah, you can't do all your stuff. You can't do all your work. So memela, you end up going to sleep. Right? It just happens to be. There's nothing else to do. So if nothing else to do, I'm going to sleep. Right? Is that what it is? You would describe Shabbos. That's the description of Shabbos is nothing else to do. Right? But we were discussing now. We're already in the Chelek Shlishi, the amazing aspects of Shabbos. How we can take advantage of Shabbos and come close to a Kodesh Baruch Hu. Kodesh Baruch Hu is here to become close to, and that's how the name of Shabbos is nothing else to do. It can't mean that. You can't do any malacha, so it must be that you're resting. There must be something very specific, very unique about Menucha. That is a part of what Shabbos is, the essence of Shabbos. And finally, the third question that he brings over here. Another question. How do we say Menucha by Hashem? Hashem rested. Kodesh Baruch Hu never gets tired. There's no he's tired. Even all of creation. Even if he would have had to build every little piece with his own hands, he doesn't have hands, but even if he still wouldn't get tired. But Hashem didn't even have to do that. He just had said Asara Mamarim. He probably didn't even have to say it, but that's how we know it as 10. There were 10 sayings, and that's it. And the whole world is running. 10 sayings, that's it. That was a lot of work, right? It's like the rich guy who gets tired from calling his servant so much, right? Hey, you bring me some food now. You bring me a drink. You bring me some fruit. Wow, I'm so tired already. Right? Bossing everybody around is exhausting, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't get tired. The Kvar Kosav Amabit, the Sefer Beis Elokim, Yesod HaGadol B'zeh. The Mabit writes in his Sefer Beis Elokim, a very important Yesod, very important fundamental in this idea. The Avagav, the Kol Inyonim, Sheksuvim Eitzal HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shem Inyonim Midyachzim Ma'anshe Oilam, Hem Kulam Al Dat HaSha'ela V'Amashal. Everything in the Torah, everything in Torah, Torah Shabbal Peh, that it describes HaKadosh Baruch Hu in terms like a human being is all only a mashal. It's only a mashal. It's only a parable. It's only a way for us to understand. But really, these things don't apply to Hashem at all. When we talk about Mishalim for Hashem, a parable, in order to understand a certain aspect, a certain midah, a certain characteristic of Hashem, so we only use the Mashalim which show his grandeur. L'mashal. As an example, Anu nichne klape maila kel rachum v'lo kel achdar chas v'shalom. We say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a merciful God. And we don't say he's a vengeful, cruel. We don't say that. Both things exist in the world. There is cruelty in the world and there is mercy in the world. And we know everything that happens in the world is from Hashem. But yet we don't refer to Hashem in that way. Both the mercy and the cruelty is both coming from Hashem. What maybe the idea is we still call it mercy because even what looks like cruelty is really klape Hashem, like really klape us too, is really a good thing. However, we still make a bracha dayana emes when something bad happens, something that we look at as bad, like somebody loses a relative. Make the bracha dayana emes because it shows something in our human eyes looks like a bad thing, and we say the bracha of atoiva meisiv when in our eyes it looks like a good thing. One of the interesting places where both brachos are said at the same time, kamat almost at the same time, or basically on the same thing. Maybe it's not the same exact moment, but on the same thing is when a parent passes away. And when a parent passes away, you make a bracha dayana emes on the loss of the parent, and you also make a bracha of atova meitiv on the yerusha, on the inheritance that you get. Making both brachas, quite an amazing thing. Quite an amazing thing. So we're making that bracha because of the way we experience what's happening to us. But the asid level, we're going to come to a place where it's kulotov. We're going to see everything that happens in the world is all good. Really, it's all good. But in our eyes, that's what we see. But when we always refer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we refer to him as in the positive way. He is the Rachamim. He is the Baal Rachamim. He is the one who has mercy. We refer to him as in these names only with something that is more mechubad, a nicer way, like Rachamim. Imkein linyanenu. If that's true, when it comes to this idea, the whole idea of rest is that we're resting because I'm tired. I'm tired. So that's a negative trait. It's a negative trait to be tired. It's not super negative like cruelty, but it is a negative trait. So why, if so, are we referring to Hashem in that way? Why do we say that HaKadosh Baruch Hu rested? It was so easy for him. Quick, easy, no hard work. He was tired. HaKadosh Baruch Hu was tired. No. Yeah, we're all tired. Human beings are tired. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not tired. So here in the Oiz Beis, we start to get into the Yesod. What exactly does it mean to be tired? What is a person tired from? And it's quite remarkable. It's really quite remarkable when we understand what's actually happening in this world. Well, every human being has two parts to him. He has his guf and he has his neshama. Now, the truth of the matter is all living things have a certain nefesh. They have a certain soul that's keeping them alive. But that soul that's all it is. It's something that keeping that animal or fish or bird, it's keeping it alive. But it doesn't have a neshama. A neshama is something that's much more rooted in the Olam HaEmes than it is into this world. So every person has two parts. He has his physical part, and he has his spiritual part. HaKadosh Baruch Hu put both when he put in the Bria. HaKadosh Baruch Hu created each day was something else. The first day was both Ruchnius and Gashmius. The second day was only Ruchnius. The third day was only Gashmius. The fourth day was Shamayim. The fifth day was the Aretz. Sixth day, again, both. Because there has to be a shikul. There has to be a equilibrium in creation. So we, human beings, have both aspects. We have the physical part and we have the spiritual part inside of us. So when it comes to Menucha, what does it mean that we need to rest? Is that talking about our physical side or is it talking about our spiritual side? So he says like this, in Ois Beis here on page Tzadi Gimel. What does it mean to rest? Somebody works very hard. It's normal, it's natural for such a person to be tired, and he needs to rest. What is the natural explanation for this? The source of all of life is spirituality. Even a plant, even grass. There is no blade of grass. Chazal teach us that every blade of grass has a malach over it that's telling it to grow. Every single thing in the physical world has a ruchniistic counterpart. So what's really happening in the world is really happening in the ruchniistic world. That's where things are really happening. We discussed this in the past, that I heard a shiur, also another shiur from Rabbi Pinkus about Purim, that when Haman made a gezeira, then we're going to destroy the whole Jewish people. Was Mordechai fazed by that? He wasn't. Who cares? Yeah. There are always people trying to destroy us. In this generation also, there are people. Okay? You don't have to go very far to find the people who are trying to destroy the Jewish people in 2024. You don't have to go very far, right? Depending on where you live, you can walk outside your door and find them, right? You can go to work and find them. You can go anywhere and find them. Whether you're in Eretz Yisrael or in Chutz La'aretz, you can find those people who are trying to destroy the Jewish people in Ruchnius and Gashmius. It's not so far. But Mordechai said, it doesn't matter what Haman's doing. I need to know what's happening in the Ruchniistic world, because that's where really things are happening. So Mordechai asked Eliyahu Hanavi, tell me, in Shamayim, did they make a gezeira that the Jewish people should be destroyed? And Eliyahu Hanavi told him, yes, they did. In Shamayim, there was a gezeira. And Mordechai asked him, but let me ask you, it was sealed, right? He said, yes, it was sealed. In Shamayim, sealed. Was it sealed in blood, or was it sealed in in concrete? Concrete is a pretty good seal, right? Which one was it sealed, in blood or sealed in concrete? So Eliyahu Hanavi asked Mordechai, why does it make a difference? He said, if it's sealed in dam, we're finished. It's over. What's happening in the Ruchnius world, that is what sets what's going to happen in the physical world. If it's in blood, we're done. But if it's in concrete, maybe there's something we can do. Maybe. And Eliyahu Hanavi said, wow, you have a secret that even the Malachi Asharis don't know. And he answered him, it was sealed in cement, not in dam. And there's a pasuk that says it. It says, la'abdam, for them to be destroyed. La'abdam can be broken up into two words, lo badam, not with blood. And that's how we were able to be zeicha, to do tshuva, and to a rebirth of Klal Yisrael. Rabbi Pinkus has a whole thing about this. We're not going to get into it right now. But that's where everything is. They're happening in the Ruchniistic world. That's where things are happening. So really, that's what matters. You know what the best thing that we can do in our situation in 2024 is? To go out there and protest against all the anti-Semitism and anti-Haredis. That's the best thing that we can do. The best thing we can do is do tshuva. The best thing we can do is change what's happening in the Ruchniistic world. That will affect what's happening in the Gashmius world. That is the best. That is the most important thing. You think taking a gun and going to kill terrorists in Gaza is the best thing you can do? It's not the best thing you can do. The best thing you can do is do tshuva. The best thing you can do is be moise nefesh for avodas Hashem, to learn more Torah, to do Ratzon Hashem better, to do more chesed. That's the best thing you can do. Change things in the ruchniistic world. That is the best thing that we can do. If we do that, then things will change in the physical world as well. So therefore, everything has the sources in the ruchniistic world. Returning now to the text. If that's true, it comes out, the physical quality of the world is the exact opposite of the spiritual quality of the world. Because physicalness pulls a person away from spirituality. The more physical a person gets, the more materialistic a person gets, the further away he gets pulled from the real source of life. The real source of life is ruchnius, is the spirituality. Cain. Therefore, kol misha avad v'itametz ba'avodah gashmi. Somebody works hard. He really works hard physically. Me'achar ve'ashkia atmo b'gashmi. It's because he's involved in the physical world. Ibet et koicho ativi. He naturally loses his power. Memelu mityayef. That's why he is tired. His tiredness comes because he's far away from his spirituality because he was too much involved in the physical. And when he rests, that is stopping the gashmias. And certainly when a person actually sleeps and his neshama goes up to Shamayim, like we say every night, those who say the entire thing, or at least part of it, biyado afkid ruchi. In your hands I put my ruach. I give my hand to ve'esi shan at the time when I go to sleep. And when Modani we say, thank you for giving it back. Hashem, I sent it up to you. Now I'm sending it up to you. And in the morning you say, thank you for giving it me back. Our neshama gets recharged in Shemayim. Our bodies stop with the gashmias, and our neshama gets recharged. Because the neshama goes back. El boiro mekor chiyuso. Memela choizer letivo. That's how we're able to recharge. Choizer letivo haruchani v'oiger la'atmo koichos chadashim. That is what rest is. Rest is we are stopping our gashmias and we're re-grabbing onto our ruchnias. I'm not working now. That means I'm stopping from being the involvement in gashmias. And when I'm actually sleeping, my soul goes up to Shamayim to give din v'cheshbon, maybe even gets a cleansing during that time up there, hopefully, depending on other factors. And that's when we're a little bit late for today, so I'm just going to say the last paragraph outside. The same thing is true, by the way, for Averis. Averis many times is called ayefus, that you're tired. It says by Esav, that Esav, when he came back from the field on the day that his grandfather, Avram Avinu, passed away, it says that he was ayef. He was tired. He was tired. What was he tired from? So Chazal teaches he was tired from doing the 5 big Averis, and including being koifer be'ikr on that day. That's why he was ayef. He was ayef because he was involved in Averis. Being involved in Averis pulls you away from the ruchnias, from who your source. That's why you're tired. You're being pulled away from the source of your life. So the more that you get pulled away from the source of your life, the more tired you are. And that's why a person needs the menucha, to rest his physicalness, to put the physical things on the side in order so that a person can recharge. So this is the yesod. We're going to stop over here now, but I just want to finish up with one line. The idea of menucha now is actually not to indulge the gashmias, but it's actually to stop the gashmias, to put an end to your involvement in gashmias, because it's the physical aspects of the world, the material aspects of the world that make us tired. Those are the things that make us tired, and we're being pulled away from the real source of our life, the spiritual source of our life. Therefore, we can start to see over here, we're going to stop over here, but the menucha of Shabbos connects us back to what real life is. We'll have to continue with this next week. Go ahead.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism. where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.